All right, so let's begin, okay? So I decided to start with the 48 laws of power, all right? And the reason why I decided to start with this is because there are it has short chapters, it's straight to the point, and there's a lot of things that everybody could apply, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start with this one. I don't know how long this is gonna take, but take notes. Everything that I'm gonna talk about is you're gonna be able to apply it today, all right? And it's gonna be very interesting because we outshine, like outshining the master is a mistake that a lot of people do simply because they're thinking of themselves, all right? So let's begin this, okay? This is gonna be really fun, okay? Hashtag Mindful Gang, people. Hashtag Patreon. If you're on my Patreon, put that hashtag Patreon gang so I can see you guys, all right? Because everyone in my Patreon are open-minded individuals, right? Who are very, I wish there was more self-help content. Jasmine Young, I don't know who you are. You just posted that. All right, so let's begin this, right? So a master, by the way, if you're asking what's a master? Master is anybody above you, right? A master is hey, what's up, freeloaders? I love my freeloaders. A master is anybody who's above you. It could be your boss, it could be your art teacher, it could be your basketball coach, anybody who's around who's above you, right? And I could show you guys an example of people breaking. Have you guys ever heard of Jerry Krause, the NBA the NBA owner of the Chicago Bulls, right? He was never given credit for that dynasty. Jerry Krause was never given credit for that dynasty. It was Michael Jordan, and it was Scottie Pippen, and the Chicago Bulls, and Phil Jackson. They all got the credit. But what happened? They outshined the master. They made the owner feel like he wasn't part of the success. So what happened? What did he do? He destroyed that whole dynasty. He prematurely allowed Jordan to leave the Bulls simply because he felt like he wasn't given the credit. That's outshining the master. Maybe he didn't build the dynasty, but if they would have just given him credit, just say, yeah, he's the main reason why we're this, it would have maybe kept the dynasty going. But they didn't. They made him feel insignificant. You see what I'm saying? The guys know what I'm talking about. The people who watch basketball know what I'm talking about. Another example of outshining the master is Kobe Bryant and Shaq. Kobe Bryant wanted to outshine Shaq. Kobe Bryant wanted to be better than Shaq. So what happened? Shaq left. There was a lot of conflict. But if Kobe was more humble, if Kobe let Shaq be Shaq for the moment, because he knew he was younger than Shaq. But what happened? They both underperformed because they couldn't get along. Why? Because you had a guy, a new dude, who had a lot of ego. There's nothing wrong with that. But he wasn't aware that he was trying to outshine Shaq. He was trying to go above the ranks. What he should have done, he should have acted like the Pippen, because it was only going to be temporary. Shaq was only in his prime for 3 years afterwards. And they would have won maybe 2 more together. They would have won maybe 5. But what happened? Kobe didn't like that. And Kobe wanted to be the man. Nothing wrong with that. The same with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, right? Russell Westbrook wanted to outshine Kevin Durant. And what happened? He left and won championships with another team. It's not like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. What did Klay Thompson do? Klay Thompson let Steph Curry be the man. Klay Thompson doesn't want any of the credit. He doesn't outshine the master. So that's what I want you guys to understand. There's a lot of consequences for outshining the people who are above you, right? So masters want to appear smarter than other people, right? They care about their image. Your boss cares about being cool. Your boss cares about being smart, right? So what you want to do is be able to put them in a position where they appear as though they are the reason for their success, right? I'm gonna let people join the chat, but please, if you join, don't talk, all right? Just listen, okay? If you join, don't talk, just listen, right? So your goal as a student in human nature, as a student in trying to gain power in life, is to make your master shine above others. Talk great about your master, because other masters are going to be looking at you, and they're going to see how you talk about your master. They're going to see how you talk about your boss. Other people around you, they're going to see how you interact with people above you, right? So that's our goal. When we are learning a new craft, our responsibility isn't to make ourselves look better. Our responsibility is to make our master look better, because if you make him look better, they'll instill more knowledge on you. They'll focus more on you. They'll bring you closer to their circle, and they'll reveal to you secrets that they would never reveal to you if they didn't have a good feeling about you. You know what I'm saying? Because when you don't make them feel superior to other people, what tends to happen is that they then begin to sort of unconsciously dislike you. You know what I'm saying? You're not making them feel how they see themselves, right? So to attain mastery and power in any field, right, you should always give them credit for your success, at least in the moment. At least in the moment, right? And also, never outshine what was it I was gonna say? Never outshine your teacher while you're under them, right? So that doesn't mean that once you become better. You see, what I'm trying to say is this. Sorry, I'm like losing track. Is that if you're under your boss, as long as you're under them, as long as you depend on them, don't outshine them, right? Because the problem is that you think that you help them out, that you gain their favor by being gifted, by showing how gifted you are. You think you gain their favor by showing them how talented you are, right? But what that does is that it makes them feel insecure. Right? It makes him feel insecure. You're not going to win his affection by showing how talented you are, by showing them how gifted you are, right? What he'll do is that he'll act like they like it, but then they'll replace you. It's just how it is. They'll act like they like the fact that you're so brilliant, that you're so charismatic, but you're outshining him. You're making him look worse. You see what I'm saying? So what you want to do is be strategic about it. And remember these three things. One, you can outshine, you can by mistake, right? Oh, somebody says I will become a Patreon, but I do not want my name credited anywhere. All right, that's fine. Okay, Ivy. Let me make a note to my assistant to say that. Don't credit Ivy for Patreon. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, so never you could by mistake outshine your master by being who you are, because some people are just naturally charismatic. Some people are just naturally more funny. Like I've encountered those people. Like I've encountered people who I think I'm funny, but they're just some people that when they talk, they're just funnier than you. They're just better than you. Like they're just more likable than you. You see what I'm? They're just some people who are just more likable than you, and the vice versa. There are some people that you're just better than them, and it's obvious to everybody, right? So what you want to do, the first thing you want to do is be able to mute your charisma, right? Or because if you don't do that, they're gonna find somebody else. They're gonna find somebody who can make them look better, right? So it's kind of like if you're somebody who's like me, right? If I was around a boss who is charismatic and I'm more charismatic than him, I'll make sure to tone that shit down, man. I'll make sure to be more humble, to be less funny, to be more boring, to be more innocuous, right? I'll still work hard, right? I'll still be there, I'll still be consistent, right? But I'll make sure that I massage his ego, right? So never assume that by being the best, by being the most charismatic, by being the funniest, by being the most flirtatious, is what wins the favor of your master. That's not what it is, right? And the second thing is, never imagine just because he loves you now, just because you're his number one, that you will be his number one forever. Do not take your position for granted. You could be his top dog. You could be your master's favorite student. But if you think that he's always gonna feel that way, or that this is genuine, you're gonna fall, because you're gonna take it for granted. You're gonna start acting out. You see what I'm saying? You should always feel like you're behind. You should always feel like you're always trying to get ahead, that you're behind the ball. Always feel a sense of disadvantage. Always feel a sense to prove yourself with your work ethic. Not with your brilliance, not with how much you know, but how much you want to learn. That's how you want to prove yourself. Prove yourself with your willingness to learn and your work ethic. Never with how never with how charismatic you are, how attractive you are, or how good your work is. Let people focus more on your work ethic. That really should be it, right? So also never take your position for granted, and never let the good favors that people do to you, or how much of a high ranking you are in life, get to your head. Because you're going to develop a sense of an unhealthy sense of entitlement. You could develop grandiosity, or you're the boss's number one. You're going to start acting like you're the boss's number one, and your friends, your coworker, your employees, your classmates are going to begin to envy you, and they're going to begin to talk bad about you. and they'll begin to sabotage you, and you'll end up leaving that job, being the best at what you did, and wondering why. Why did they not like me? Because motherfucker, you outshined everybody. You outshined everybody. You know, stop it from the start. Do not try to be this outstanding student, this outstanding anything from the start. At least hide it. You know what I'm saying? At least hide it. So that then as you gain power slowly, like Putin, I don't know too much of the story about Putin, but all I know about Putin is that Putin wasn't, you could never by just looking at the way Putin acted, that he was gonna rise to power. You want to be that sneaky, you know? Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, and that even goes to females. If you're part of a social circle, like if you're a girl, right, and you're the hottest girl in your social circle, you gotta make sure you don't make your friends insecure. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always one friend that everybody follows, right? So it's kind of like if you're better looking than that one friend, I can promise you that one friend is not gonna want you around men. That one friend is not gonna want you around other people because they think that you might win all of their friends over. You see what I'm saying? They said this. Somebody said in the comment section is that a wise person knows that he knows nothing. Stay quiet, be patient, learn, and success will come when the time is right. Exactly, right? All right, so let's keep going, right? So know this, right? So do the following. Flatter your boss. Flatter people. Learn to flatter people's ego, right? And puff them up. But never go too far. Don't get down on your knees and start sucking his dick. Guy or woman, all right? You gotta know that you could praise somebody, but do not go too far because it's gonna look obvious to everybody. Don't be an ass kisser. Don't be a brown nose.